plus years, you know, done numerous movies, you know, numerous episodes of the series. You know, what is your favorite, you know, movie or episode that you guys have done?
You know, for me, I think it's, well, I've said this before, like, people ask me about different arcs and stuff. My favorite arc, I realize, is the Goku Vegeta story arc. And as far as material, it's a close toss-up between Battle of Gods and Resurrection F. As far as I'm concerned, Battle of Gods is the best work I've ever done as Goku. And Resurrection F, my own internal jury is out on that, but I think it's a pretty spectacular movie, and I think it might be even better, which is hard to believe because Battle of Gods is so amazing. But out of all the Dragon Ball Z stuff, I mean, Battle of Gods and Resurrection F are just beyond. It's really amazing. Chris?
Yeah, in this series, it was definitely the Majin Vegeta stuff, like when Vegeta and Goku had their epic fight. I think the series really peaked then, but it's impossible not to say that these new movies are awesome. And I know it sounds like we're just pitching these movies, but imagine, well, and you guys know what I'm talking about here, you eat the same candy for 15 years and they're like, it's brand new candy,
yeah.
Just like the type you like, except it's tastier.
Yeah.
And, so we've been working on this, and finally we get to open like a new wrapper of a new type of thing, and it's been so fun to work on new material. It's just been amazing.
Absolutely. But my favorite isn't one of the movies. Episode 194. And actually, I've been thinking about this for a little because we've been asked this question a lot. And as an engineer working with Chris way back, I actually took that episode and played with it with my own little soundtrack. And I actually have a custom-made version of that. Do you know what I'm talking about? Episode 194?
You're the only one, Justin.
Yeah. All right, so I out-nerded everybody in the room. This is when Trunks goes back to his future and kicks the snot out of the. Oh, now we remember. So I've set all of that to If You Want Blood, We've Got It. And several other, but anyway,
That's great.
But I love that. That whole future Trunks storyline is my favorite.
Thank you. Awesome, thank you. And we have Yugi.
Hello.
Hello.
Your mic works.
Oh.
Yeah. By the way, I have a friend named Melissa. She said hi to you, Sean Shamel.
Oh, okay. Hi.
Ask us questions.
That's my
I'm just gonna go out right now. It's Shevel and Savage.
Oh, no. It's Sabat and Shamel.
Oh, no, that's my step on it.
Well, she's a huge fan girl. I mean, she would love to be here, and I just thought I would just deliver the message to you.
Well, thank you. That's very sweet. Tell her I said hello.
Now, my question is, between Battle of Gods and, you know, in connection to Resurrection F, Beerus was talking to Whis about Frieza, and I'm trying to figure out, you know, with this new movie coming out, how it really puts it into perspective. So I'm thinking for different possibilities. What do you guys think if Frieza, this new Frieza that then comes out, were to kill Beerus? And then on top of that, take his place and becomes the new god of destruction.
I think that once you see the movie, with respect to you and the question, that will kind of be moot.
However, there is something else in the movie that's touched on involving Beerus, and I honestly thought you were going to bring that up. There is another element. I don't know if you guys remember in Battle of Gods, at the very beginning, Beerus and Frieza are talking, and it seems like Beerus knew who Frieza was. Oh, sorry, Beerus and Whis are talking, and it's you discover that Beerus and Whis have known about Frieza all along. They actually,
right. So like, what's the connection between them?
You will find out in Resurrection F. It's, sorry, I don't want to spoil it for everybody. That's what I thought you were getting at. But something far more interesting than what you're saying is going to come.
And the question to that is clearly delineated in an interaction between Frieza and Beerus in the movie, but I'm not going to say anymore.
Right.
But you'll understand what the answer is at that point.
You know what you should do? You should go to DragonBallZ.com.
Don't forget he is a producer, so he's gonna be yeah.
Right. But I was just saying, if that were to happen, it'd be totally insane.
Yeah, it would be totally insane.
It would be totally insane. I mean, completely awesome. It would be because we know what happened.
Oh God.
It would be absolutely insane. All right, thanks. Next question.
I had it in through my heart.
Yeah.
Hey.
Hey. You look like drunk Gohan.
Fighting Cell takes a lot out of you.
Yeah. Right?
That would happen. First, I want to say, you guys are easily my two favorite voice actors ever.
Thank you.
And whenever I was a kid and I watched Dragon Ball Z on the computer or the show, and I'd like see a different dub or something different, I'll be like, that's not Goku, that's not Vegeta. And then I find you guys and I'll be like, there we go.
Yeah.
First I want to ask you two, what was your favorite Super Saiyan transformation or transformation like scene or?
Are you asking me?
Both.
Well,
The only Super Saiyans up here.
oh yeah.
Oh, Reddit!
Super Saiyan Jesus. What's that? Super Saiyan Jesus.
Super Saiyan Jesus.
Probably the Super Saiyan 3 transformation, which I did not pass out during. That was during GT, during a Kamehameha or something, which I rather enjoyed. Chris?
I think I have a favorite Super Saiyan transformation that I can't talk about right now.
Oh, I remember.
It's a Super Saiyan Mr. Popo.
Super Saiyan Mr. Mr. Purple cannot.
Thank you.
And
Yes, there's a new pecking order.
and,
Yeah, there's a new
real
pecking
quick,
order.
I know this is like a horrible thing to do, but I'm just wondering.
Oh, it's like a rule break.
I'm sorry. I love you guys so much.
I love you too, but we can't do it.
Can you hear me out? Hear me out. Can you guys sign my?
No, we're not doing any signings.
Okay.
Right? One of the rules, sorry.
Okay.
Keep
sorry.
moving, we gotta keep moving. We got a lot of people.
But hear me out, dude.
Okay.
Okay.
What?
No, I'm kidding. I'm joking.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Moron, dude. Yeah.
Hi.
Oh, okay, so I want to ask a question, but they said it's been asked too much, so I'll ask this. Between Goku and Vegeta, who's the better father?
Vegeta.
Oh!
Sadly, Vegeta is a better father.
I mean, never once has Vegeta smacked Bulma into a tree. Never.
He smacked Trunks a lot though. In the Hyperbolic Time Chamber.
It was training.
There's training.
He was so absentee, he let Piccolo smack Goku. I'm not even gonna dignify you with smacking you around.
They spent that whole year in the time chamber together, though.
Oh yeah, they spent an entire year
Non-stop.
Doesn't Dragon Ball Z begin with Goku ignoring his son and his son like going down the river and falling off a waterfall?
Totally.
He'll figure it out, right?
And if you think about it, Goku spends a year with him, but it's only a day, so Goku's like, oh wow, you know, whole year of fatherhood in a day.
Not only is he a bad father, but he's
Intentionally bad father.
And the thing is, he didn't even think about that. He was like,
We could train for an entire year and only be a day go by. Yes.
now I can spend an entire year more with my son before I die again. He's not a good dad. I love when he shows up again and he still ignores his son. Like everyone's like, hey, it's Goku's back. He's like, hey, what's up, son?
And then he gets back from a battle. He's like, you're back. Goes, bye. I gotta go train noob. See ya. He just got back.
That's his real son, you mean?
Oh.
Probably.
Oh.
See? There you go.
Goku's really not even a good friend. Having seen the Super Episode 3 when King Kai gives him flack, Goku doesn't even remember he's the one that killed Gregory and King Kai.
Did you guys know that Sean's the voice of King Kai?
Cynthia Grams, who plays Chi-Chi, the other day I was with her on a panel, she goes, I didn't know all these usually played King Kai. And I was like, yes. I think it's funny when people don't know because it means I'm doing my job right. But thank you. Thank you.
Cuts like lightning.
Hi there.
Yes.
Hi.
That was really interesting. Both of you mentioned stuff like how you lived on the shout out the Japanese cast and how Dragon Ball Z was like your first dubbing job and all that. And it was over the past year I've been watching through Z in both versions, and so that's why I have to ask you an honest question. When you go back to like the original dub, do you ever got like a hard time watching it? In particular, this is one for both of you, but for Mr. Sabat.
Are you trying to say we sucked when we first started? We got better. Apparently, having the Simpsons cast or whatever, if you watch early Simpsons, it's rough.
I know, but
They're all amazing now, but it was rough.
I mean, I know this is more of a question for both of you, but for Mr. Sabat in particular.
Oh yeah.
He has a good explanation for this.
Oh, I know.
Okay, what was it like doing the Cat Loves Food line?
Oh yeah, well, I'm gonna tell you guys something. That line wasn't in the script. I made up that line, and I did that line myself.
Yeah.
So do you guys remember Cats Love Food? Yeah, yeah, yeah. It fit into the mouth movements, and it just was too good to pass up. Honestly, I don't think that's the worst line. The worst line ever delivered by me in anything ever was when Piccolo finally returns. He comes back to the league and goes, yes, 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 yes. I can do this. I feel great. Yes.
I don't remember.
He goes back to Namek?
Yeah, when he goes back to Namek.
Really, like,
He goes back to
we
Damon.
all
Reference of
really
it,
knew actors back
TFS
then.
now.
And on top
Yeah.
of that, we were working on really old, very antiquated old equipment. We had very little guidance. We didn't have really anything to help us. We didn't have the internet. We didn't have any guides of any sort. And
You're winging it.
yeah. So going back, it is a little painful to watch some of those episodes, but part of what makes them so great is kind of how bad they are
True.
too. Like everyone who watches those still kind of understands that. They're like, oh, this is awful, but
I think that's why I'm such a big supporter of Kai, because I got, X number of 10 years to work on my character, and then no cast gets to redub their show. So it's like, oh wow, I'm actually a better actor now. I get to do this, and I get the nostalgia appeal. I mean, I love the driving episode and all the extra filler. It was very nostalgic. I mean, I enjoy all that stuff, but I watched some of my first day of recording, which is right when I show up to meet Captain Ginyu, because we started on episode 53, and it's painful to watch, man. It hurts.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of you guys love that, and there's nothing wrong with that, I mean, it's nostalgia fact. I watch a lot of my old favorite shows from when I was growing up, and I loved them, and I went back and watched them, like, wow, Speed Buggy really sucked. And Super Friends is hilarious when you watch it now. It's just hilarious. So that's a good question.
Yeah, thank you. It's really
Thank you.
enlightening.
First, I just want to say I am incredibly nervous just being in your presence.
Oh, wow.
My hands are shaking right now.
Wow.
So my question
No
is, at the end of Battle of Gods, when Beerus was talking to Goku, he mentioned something about 12 different universes, 12 different gods of destruction, 12 different Gokus, Vegetas, and so on.
Did he say that part, the Goku's Vegetas, or did he just say 12
Well, he
universes?
said 12 different universes, 12 different versions of everyone.
Well, yeah, that's it.
So,
go ahead.
do you guys see a future with that being a theme taking place?
Well, there's a circle there.
What I took from that was not that there would be different universes with different Gokus, although that's a really interesting way to think about
And
it.
probable based on certain quantum theory, but that's another panel. Nerds out there.
I got the impression that there were just several gods of destruction in different universes. That's what I took away from it. But you could be very well right. There could be anything.
Like
Like
maybe
Tall
an
Ball.
alternate universe where
Tall Ball for the
Goku gets
tree.
sent to Earth and becomes evil.
Yeah. And there's an alternate universe where you get up to the mic and you're not nervous. There's a,
That would be great.
It's infinite.
So, who knows which universe, which number universe that Beerus is the god of destruction for? There you go.
Yes.
In a show like Dragon Ball Z, of course it's 7.
Seven.
The answer have to be
Always
7.
seven.
Everything is 7. Cool, thank you.
And can I just come up and shake your hands real quick? Because
No, I can't do it. I can't. If you do it, then I have to let everybody do it. And sorry.
If we give out one piece of candy, then Boo's got to give out one piece of candy to everyone and turn down the candy.
Then let me at least do this. I am not worthy.
Thank you.
Okay, that's okay.
I'll shake Sean's hand for you. There you go.
Next question.
So I wanted to know the fact, or more your opinion about the whole fact that you got a whole series of work retconned, referring to GT and just the fact that all that work that you did just...
I'm convinced it's not been retconned at this point.
I've never even heard that term.
I really thought it was not going to be canon anymore, but they haven't. But as these are progressing, we're still not sure whether they're going to wipe it out. Or
I think that's because there are elements from GT that are in Super, maybe?
Is that-
What's the reason?
Well, I mean, okay, so for those of you who've seen the first episode of Super, it actually doesn't even take place at the end of Dragon Ball Z, right?
Yeah.
Because at the end of Dragon Ball Z, Oob leaves with Goku
Right.
and goes off to train, right? Well, this is before that.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yep.
Technically, I think even if it was a different universe, I mean, thinking about all the different movies and stuff, they're all kind of discontinuous, all the previous movies.
Satellites to the series.
So I think Toriyama, I'm not speaking for him, but from what I've heard, it's with the concept potentially of having different dimensions and things like that, everything has the potential of being canon.
I think the answers will all lie in Super. So
Yeah, we will see.
we will hang on.
And hey, it was work that we did and that people liked, and nothing to regret there.
It's better than Evolution, so.
Oh, yeah.
There's a fact for you.
Yes. GT's better than Evolution
Hey guys,
any day of the week.
Hey, how are you doing?
All right. So my question is, do you guys personally feel like a deep connection to the characters you portray, like in everyday life? You know, you kind of walk around and feel like, oh yeah, I'm Goku today. You know?
We got this question asked on the press conference, and it's a good question. And I have a very unique association with the characters, and I think I was partly cast because the casting director at the time really thought I was very much just naturally my personality, and I am very kind of clueless and naive about a lot of things. But for me, I wake up, and you know how you wake up and you just, you know, you have your place and your clothes and what's your name? Marcus, and you're Marcus doing your thing. There's a blurry line between me and Goku. There's not a day goes by that there's not some Goku-y thing, and it doesn't feel like my other characters I play do, which is, oh, here's a thing outside of me that I do that's separate. Here's a thing that's, you know, a little bit alien to me because I only played the character for a little while. It's so I wake up and I don't feel I feel like me, which is I feel like what feels like to be Goku. I mean, I don't understand where the end begins. It's like a snake eating its own tail. It's very confusing for me because I wake up and I just feel that way all the time. And my girlfriend who's backstage, she hears me Goku out sometimes, you know, either goofily or when I'm angry or yelling. And then my dog, who doesn't tolerate any heightened emotions, will immediately lick me over and calm down. So I don't get to go Super Saiyan in the house anymore. It's a separate character than any other character I play. It's actually not my favorite character to play, but I'm also not the biggest fan of myself, so it kind of works that way. I'm trying to describe this in ways you can understand because I want you to understand it because it's actually a good question that I really like. Not that the other ones weren't, but it feels as comfortable as I feel like I don't like to say I'm Goku. I try to divorce myself from the character just so I can have a self. But then when I realize when I do that, I don't feel any different. So I might as well just be Goku. Way to put it, I don't know. Chris has known me for so long, and he's kind of like my friend. I go to therapy, but I have a friend psychologist who goes, "Oh yeah, I observed this about you, Sean," and I go, "Oh yeah, you're right. Wow, Chris, thanks for that."
I mean,
what do you think?
Well, the thing about Sean is Sean is irreplaceable as Goku because Sean to me is Goku in so many ways. And it's not just because he's naive about stuff. He's insanely, almost idiot savant talented at doing this work. You know what I mean?
That's my nickname in college. They thought I was an idiot savant.
I mean, he's just so effortlessly does great work. And the only time Sean screws up in the booth is when Sean starts thinking about the fact that he's doing something. The best work Sean does is when I go, Sean, stop thinking about it. You're Goku. You've been Goku for 15 years. Just be Goku. And Sean was so nervous going into the recordings for Resurrection F. I think he physically got himself sick for it. We couldn't even record the first day. And I was really worried for him, and I was like, "What's going on, Sean?" He goes, "Well, I don't know. I'm having this problem because people have this expectation, and I want it to be really good, and I don't want to record unless I'm absolutely my best." I'm like, "Sean, you are your best when you're not even thinking about it. You remember what we started at? You are infinitely better than that. On your worst days, you're better than all the stuff in those orange boxes."
Oh my God.
So, I mean, I do think Sean is more Goku to me than Goku is.
Or maybe than I am Sean. I don't know. It's strange. It's a really strange question. Who are you? It's a weird. It reminds me of when Spock was so into. They were so into Spock, and he wrote a book, "I Am Not Spock" or whatever. And I don't ever feel like writing a book like that necessarily. I kind of want to write a book called "Growing Up Goku" because being Goku has forced me to mature in so many ways that I would not have otherwise, and this guy has too. And he's actually very much like Goku in terms of his not giving a shit and being cool and chill, and I really have the more Vegeta temper sometimes, But
the only time I'm like Vegeta or Piccolo is if you catch me right after I've record it.
Or if a cab driver tries to double charge you.
Oh, yeah.
There's a story about that that's hilarious.
Oh, it's a long